Hi everyone, my name is Evan, and today I will present the final project with my teammate Katie. Our project is focusing on stock price prediction using NLP, ANN, and LSTM. So first, inspirations. We know that heuristic method is used before AI, and AI actually overcomes that highly random results generated from the heuristics to prevent high risk for companies. So that's why numerous investment banking are now using machine learning models. Therefore, feel we are interested in that, and we want to dive into the most commonly used model in and LSTM. And for stock prices, after we explore data sets and we read some research papers, we find that stock prices are highly sentiment sensitive. We decide to pick ANN and LSTM plus NLP models and train them using stock market data and social media data. And finally, we will analyze and compare the performance of two models.
So for our data set, we got both of them from Kaggle. And although there are differences between the data sets in terms of time period, one is from 2012 to 2018, and the other one is from February to July 2018, we made the assumption that public sentiment about companies can be deducted using the most recent tweets instead of historic tweets.
As for AN, it's a computation model that consists of several processing elements that receive inputs and deliver outputs based on their predefined activation functions. For AN, we use 3 dense layers and 1 drop-off layer. We have ReLU and sigmoid activation functions. And we also predict 3 days, 10 days, and 30 days in our current models. And you can adjust how many days you want to predict. Either less or more days by adjusting variable time step, and that generated price trend will showing as positive or negative, and it will combine with the stock price calculation function showing here and calculate the final result. As for LSTM and NLP, LSTM is an artificial RNN architecture used in the field of deep learning, and NLP is for involves the tag analysis and a set of statistical techniques for identifying parts of speech, entity sentiment, and other aspects of text. As for LSTM, we have 1 layer LSTM layer, and we have sigmoid activation function here. We specially use EMA calculation with a gamma equal to 0.1 and when the size is 100. And same here, we generate stock price chains and feed that to NLP.
So for NLP model, we use the LangDeck library to find that only 26,000 out of 28,000 tweets are in English. So we had to remove those non-English text. And then we used the NLTK library to remove all the stop words from the tweets. After that, we used a pre-trained Bayes-Nave classifier from the NLTK sentiment analyzer to obtain all the sentiment scores. And then we get an average score for all the tweets from the same company. And eventually we tested we fine-tuned the sentiment score against the LSTM model to find the best weight. We found that 0.07 produced the best results.
As for the result of ANN, we have market returns and strategy returns. Market returns here is basically guess the stock price change percentage compared to yesterday, which used for the stock price calculation later. And the second one is prediction versus grand truth. So the prediction here is based on the data we have gained in the first diagram. And the next one is our MAE and RMSE accuracy. So here we find out for the MAE scores there are not a significant difference between for the train set and test set. So we think it's a fair model to train our stock prediction data in the AN model.
And for the LSTM NLP result, we found that adding the NLP weight significantly improved the accuracy for the LSTM model. And as for the MSE and MAE, adding the NLP weight also increased these error scores, or decreased error scores and increased accuracy. So in conclusion, after comparing the two models, we found the AN model performs much better in terms of MAE, RMSE, and also accuracy. We found that public sentiment has an important effect on stock price predictions. So for future improvements, we can actually use daily NLP sentiment score instead of an average sentiment score in the past 5 months to predict stock price for the next day. And also we can use multiple sentiment sources such as Reddit, Facebook, and Google News to get a more accurate stock price prediction.